My name is Marilyn Thompson. I'm 62 years old. If you had told me 5 years ago that I'd be sleeping in a motel room with nothing but 2 suitcases, I would have laughed. It all started when my husband Daniel passed away. He left behind a life insurance policy worth $175,000. Every penny of it went to our son Ethan. Not because I was clueless, but because I believed in him. He called me late one night, voice shaking, saying they'd found the perfect house, but were short on the down payment. Without hesitation, I said, "I'll help. Of course I will." I wired the money the next day. I moved in with them a few weeks later. Brittany hugged me tightly and said, "You'll always have a place with us, Marilyn." Ethan kissed my forehead and told me I'd never have to lift a finger again. The house was beautiful. My room was the guest suite on the ground floor. It didn't have a closet. The bed was a twin. The bathroom was a half bath, no shower. But I didn't mind. I was just happy to hear voices and laughter again. But warmth doesn't always last, and some promises aren't meant to be kept. I learned that the home I helped them build was never truly mine to keep. The shift didn't happen overnight. It crept in quietly. Brittany joked to her friends on speakerphone, laughing that she lived with 2 kids and a grandma. I pretended not to hear. Ethan started sighing whenever I asked questions, like when I wondered if I could put up a small shelf in the laundry room. Then came the changes, little deliberate ones. One morning, I went to grab milk from the upstairs fridge only to find a padlock on it. Brittany said she was meal prepping and needed it to stay organized. I just used the garage fridge instead. A few days later, the Wi-Fi stopped working in my room. Ethan had moved the modem to his upstairs office. One night, I overheard Brittany on the phone. "She's sweet, but we need our own life. This isn't sustainable." I stopped in my tracks. I told myself I was imagining it. So I kept going. Then one morning, everything changed. I was walking toward the kitchen when I heard Ethan's voice. "She won't leave if we're too nice," he said. "We've got to push her out quietly. No fight." And then Brittany's reply, colder than I ever thought she could be. "She won't sign over her share unless she feels unwanted. Make her uncomfortable. She'll leave herself." I stood there frozen. My heart caved inward because the boy I raised was strategizing how to force me out of a house I had helped him buy. Not because I was unkind. Not because I did anything wrong, but because I took up space. That night, I made chicken Alfredo, Ethan's favorite. Neither of them came to dinner. The next morning, I was rinsing strawberries at the sink when Brittany walked in. Her tone was carefully sweet. "Marilyn," she began, "we've been thinking it might be time for you to find something more permanent. It's just your own space, for your comfort." A few moments later, Ethan came in. "We don't have space for you anymore, Mom," he said. "You need to go." Just like that. No emotion in his voice, no gratitude. I didn't cry. I didn't argue. I just turned to face them both and smiled, calm, steady, and unshaken. "Okay," I said softly. "I'll be out by tonight." Ethan gave a satisfied nod. "Thanks, Mom," he mumbled. I went to my room and started packing. I wrapped the framed photo of my husband, Daniel, in my old quilt. Then from the bottom of my suitcase, I pulled out a red folder I hadn't touched in months. Inside was a copy of the house deed. My name sat right next to Ethan's 49% Konar. They had forgotten that. Or maybe they assumed I had. I didn't say goodbye. I didn't slam doors. I ordered a cab, rolled my suitcases out, and climbed in without looking back. I didn't feel grief. I felt something quieter, heavier, like the moment before a storm hits and everything goes still because I knew something they didn't. That house, ... was also their liability, and I had just lit the fuse. The cab ride to the motel was silent. I had booked the room a week earlier. Something in my gut had whispered, "Be ready." The motel wasn't fancy, but it was mine. The next morning, I walked to a nearby diner. Halfway through my second cup of coffee, my phone rang. Mims Thompson. A man said, "My name's Brad. I'm with Carolina Private Lending. You're listed as a owner of a property at 288 Willowbend Road." "Yes," I answered, cautious. "It's been a default," he said. Ethan had taken out a $95,000 business loan against the house without telling me. He'd used the property as collateral. Payments hadn't been made in months. Foreclosure proceedings would begin within days. Ethan had started a marketing business that failed in less than 4 months. Brad was polite but firm. I had 2 options: pay off the loan and save the house, or sign a release and let it go. I asked him to email me the paperwork. Back at the motel, I printed it. I took out the same blue pen I'd once used to sign Ethan's kindergarten permission slips and wrote my name on every dotted line. Slow, steady, deliberate. Then I scanned the forms and sent them back. Foreclosure will proceed, he confirmed. I thanked him, then hung up. Ethan was about to learn what it feels like to be left quietly without warning. Exactly the way he left me. I didn't tell anyone what I had done. I just sat in my motel room and waited. It didn't take long. The next morning at 8:03 a.m., my phone buzzed with a text from Ethan. "Did you cancel something with the house? We just got a weird letter from a lender." I didn't reply. 3 hours later, another message. "There's a notice on the door. Call me." Still silence. By mid-afternoon, Brittany sent her own. "Marilyn, please. We're confused. Tell us what's going on." I turned my phone off. If I heard one more fake plea, I might forget that silence is sometimes the sharpest weapon of all. Less than 48 hours after I signed the papers, the foreclosure notice was officially posted. Brittany made it public. She posted a frantic message in the neighborhood Facebook group. "Urgent. Our home is being targeted by a fraudulent lender. We may be victims of a scam." The irony made me laugh. Comments poured in. Brittany replied like a politician under pressure, spinning every question into vague hardship. "We're being betrayed by someone we trusted," she wrote. "Someone who was supposed to protect us." Ethan doubled down. He posted an old photo of the 2 of us, him as a boy licking an ice cream cone. The caption read, "It's hard when the people who raised you turn on you." No names, no tags, just manipulation for sympathy clicks. I thought about posting the deed, the loan documents, the texts. But then I remembered what my father once told me: never wrestle with pigs. You'll both get dirty and the pig likes it. So I stayed quiet, but I wasn't done. 3 days after the lockout, there was a knock at my motel door. When I opened it, just a crack, I saw her. Brittany, hair messier than usual, eyes red, holding a bundled-up newborn wrapped in a pale pink blanket. "Marilyn," she said quietly, "I'm not here to fight. We don't know what to do anymore." I didn't open the door all the way. She bounced the baby gently. "Her name's Emily," she whispered. "She's yours, too. Don't shut us out." That hit harder than I expected. I hadn't known the baby's name. I opened the door. She sat on the edge of the bed. "We really messed up. I said things I didn't mean. We're scared." I watched her the whole time, watched her lips tremble, watched her try to cry without fully committing. And then I saw it. A tag still attached to the diaper bag. "Posh baby, over $900 retail." "That's new," I said, pointing. Brittany stiffened. "It was a gift," she said too quickly. From a friend, I walked to the window. A black SUV idled by the curb, polished, not broken down. "You came here to get something," I said. She flinched. "I came here to ask for help." "No," I said, turning around. "You came here to film something?" I walked straight to her. I saw the phone in the side pocket. "You were recording." She didn't deny it. "We just wanted proof," she whispered. "In case you twisted things again, get out," I said. When she didn't move, I added lower, colder, sharper. "I'm not your storyline. I'm not your villain, and I'm not your ATM. She's your granddaughter," she said, voice cracking. "No," I replied calmly. "She's your daughter, and you better raise her to treat people better than you did." She walked out with stiff shoulders. The sub pulled away smooth and silent. I closed the door, locked it, and stood still. My hands were shaking, not from fear, but from adrenaline. She hadn't come for forgiveness. She had come for footage. The next morning, I walked to the courthouse and filed for a temporary restraining order. I included everything: texts, screenshots, the attempted ambush in my motel room, even the brand tag on the diaper bag. The clerk didn't flinch. "You're not the first," she said quietly. That night, I sat on the edge of my bed and opened my notebook. On a fresh page, I wrote one sentence. They brought a baby to play victim. I brought receipts. 2 days later, a thick envelope was slid under my door. Restraining order granted. I mailed a copy to Ethan and Brittany's last known address with no return name, just a neon sticky tab on the first page. If you wanted legal, you got it. Later that night, I opened my email. A message from a journalist at Charlotte Local Magazine. They'd heard rumors and wanted my side of the story. I didn't hesitate. I sent them everything. Scans of the deed, the bank transfer receipt, the signed foreclosure papers, Brittany's text about planning the nursery once she's gone, and a photo of that $900 diaper bag. In the subject line of the email, I wrote, "Since they want to talk, let's talk." The article ran the following Sunday, a 3-page spread titled, "When Help Becomes a Weapon." One mother's account of financial betrayal. It didn't go viral, but it reached the right people. People didn't call me a villain anymore. They didn't even call me a victim. They called me Marilyn. And that was enough. 5 days later, I was walking back from the local coffee shop when I spotted Ethan. He was sitting alone at a table in the corner. He looked up, our eyes met. He didn't wave. He didn't flinch. He just looked. And in that look, I saw it. Not guilt, not shame, just distance. I walked past without a word. That night, he sent one last email. No subject line. I read the article. "I won't contact you again. I'm sorry you felt like you had no choice. Not sorry for what he did, just sorry I felt forced to act." I archived it. Didn't reply. The next morning, the motel manager handed me a stack of forwarded mail. At the bottom was a large envelope with a real estate logo and a sticky note. "You've been approved. Keys are waiting. A 2-bedroom condo in a quiet Wilmington complex. 2nd floor, balcony, ocean breeze, rent just under my pension budget." I stood there holding the letter and I realized something. I had stopped flinching at unknown numbers, stopped checking over my shoulder, stopped apologizing for simply existing. That evening, I updated my will. I removed Ethan's name entirely. Instead, I left everything to 3 places: a domestic abuse shelter, a literacy nonprofit, and the animal rescue I used to volunteer for. I sent the paperwork to my lawyer with one note: if he ever challenges it, send everything publicly. That weekend, one final text came from a number I didn't recognize. 4 words. "We lost everything. Congrats." I read it once, then deleted it. No response. I packed my bags, not because I was running, but because I had finally stopped. The condo was smaller than I imagined. But the sunlight, it poured in like forgiveness. No footsteps above, no slammed doors, just space. Mine. And on the kitchen counter, I placed one thing: a tiny seashell painted blue with silver edges. I named it Peace. And this time, no one could take it from me.